Greetings and hello, I am Kaiser Louis Philip V, and I'm here making a special video to tell you guys we have reached 800 likes on our Facebook page, on the mothership, the home base. We have 800 likes, 800 members, 800 people following us and all that good stuff, and getting posts and everything, and that makes me so happy. It's just great. And we're reaching more people than ever, and people are sharing more than ever, and we're getting at least one person joining the page every day, and that makes me so happy, and that's great. Great job, everyone who's been sharing and everything. And I want to give shout-outs to specific people right now who've been helpful toward the growth of the page, and without whom, we wouldn't have a page, or we wouldn't have a movement, because of all the work they've done for us, and for, their own dioceses and parishes and whatnot. I want to give a big shout-out to the Catholic Royal Army of America, the CRAA. I share a lot of their stuff. And its admin, who's been a great personal friend and who has been helpful to me, in getting the page out there and sharing it and liking it and making it popular. I really want to thank him for that. He's also been a great personal friend who's been supportive, and it's really cool because he's into Catholic France and I really like the Holy Roman Empire, so our pages are both kind of themed that way. So it's like we're coming together to remake like the Carolingian Empire kind of symbolically, and that really has good feelings for me. That really gives me good vibes about how this is all going to go and turn out. I also want to give a big shout out to our former Legatus ad Coronis, our ambassador to the crowns. Patrick Dorsey, who was real helpful in getting interest in Catholic monarchy up on the page for the short time he was able to be an officer. He's a great friend, and I want to thank him so much for all the work he's done for the page and how he's still been supportive and the like, and he's been a great friend. I also want to give a shout-out to Michelle Angelina, who's also been a good friend of the page and a good supporter. She's also been a great friend. She's been like a second mom to me a lot of times in my life, or a big sister, and I want to thank her so much for being there and being supportive. She's also a member of Holy Innocents in New York. That's getting a lot of attention right now, and she's working hard to keep the parish open, charitably and kindly, and she's trying to keep the parish open, find a way it can stay open in spite of everything. And she's a great lady, and I just want to thank her for everything she does. I just want to thank everyone who's ever had, Jared Olar. He's been a very active commenter, and he's been a very active sharer and poster. And I want to thank him as well. And Nick Bevan, who is always a name that's showing up in the notifications feed, for liking and commenting and sharing. And I really want to thank him for that. That means so much to me, because he's also on my friends list, like a lot of these guys I've mentioned. And it's seeing my stuff get shared in their feeds just always gives me this little small, amount of pride. It's like, wow, that's really cool. And I just want to thank them all. I also want to give a big shout out right now to someone who to two people who haven't necessarily liked the page or joined it, but who've been really instrumental to me in my own life formation. Charles Coulombe, ever since I saw your two interviews that you did for that one Restorationist magazine, or whatever it was, I've been a big fan of your work. I've been a big fan of, your political philosophy and such, and I want to thank you so much for being supportive and for answering these questions I've occasionally presented to you. And I really want to thank you for that. I want to also give a shout out to Rourke Mitzel. He's a sword master up in York, Pennsylvania. He's a great guy. He is so cool. He's always posting these awesome pictures of him in arms and armor, and he's a devout Catholic, and he's really, really just a great guy. A great swordsman. He's fenced before the Crown Prince of Brazil. He's such an amazing guy. He's had an amazing life, and he's one of the very big inspirations in my life, and I just want to thank him so much just for kind of existing and being there, and for the conversations we've had occasionally, because I don't like bothering people a lot, but I just want to thank him all the same for just being there and being an inspiration to me. These two people who've just been so great. I'm just so overcome right now, because when this page started out, we had only had 37 likes for the longest time, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, you know what? This is fine. I went on faith with this. It doesn't have to get really big if it's not what it's meant to be. But then we just kept growing, and I was so happy, and it's just kept growing ever since. We're at a point these days where we have at least one new like every single day, one new follower every day, and that just feels so amazing, to see us grow like that. I also want to encourage people to like our Tumblr, and to which I will link in the description, and to like this YouTube channel and subscribe to it. And I am just wow, this is really great. And I want to thank you all, and especially people I mentioned who have brought all this up. Now, I want to talk about right here with this video specifically where I want to take this whole thing right now, because as always, the NSIR has not just been about a Facebook page. It's meant to be a think tank for a very much larger movement that is going to grow beyond the internet and become a real force in the world for good and for Catholicism. And more than anything, I want us to go beyond that. The ultimate endgame goal right now is to get a big, strong, active, vocal fan base, who are ready to, get boots on the ground and move, at any given time, for marches and for protests and for demonstrations and the like, just, not just here in the United States, but internationally. I just can't, I can't really, get into much detail because there's just so much, because we haven't gotten to that point yet, so I don't know what all we'll be able to do, but that's always been the end game goal. But right now, really, what I want to do is get big enough to where we can do that, have a convention somewhere, like a meeting or something, or a rally, and where we pick our officers and we really talk about where we want to do, in terms of our presentation, in terms of how we look, how we carry ourselves, in the political sphere, what our next mode of action is going to be now that we know we can marshal people to a location and get them in one spot and get them fired up. But right now, there are specific things I really want to do to get the page on the ground and get it moving to being a force in the internet. Because we are almost at Legion strength, guys. We are 200 members away from being the size of a Roman legion. That is so amazing to me. Just, again, thank you so much. One of the first things I want to do is find new officers, because I'm not always available. There have been stretches of time where there's been no content. I'm sorry. My real life is really busy. I have a lot of responsibilities in my parish and my family, and I don't always have the time to sit down and put stuff on the page. If I can't create content, I always try to just go like something or share something or comment on something or post some kind of small text thing. Just something to let you guys know I'm still here. Because as long as I'm alive and beating, as long as I'm alive and my heart is beating and there's blood coursing through my body, I'm going to keep the NSIR going. I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to stop, because I believe in what we can do. I believe in our ability to be a force for good. So I'm always looking for officers, though, who share that vision and want to help me, make that a reality, create content, post, be active, really support the movement in their own small ways, through their own blogs or editorials or through their own public witnesses and such. I also really want us to find charities that we can support, charities that are, either have the goal of helping Catholic Christians or anybody, really. I like the Maltesers, I follow them a lot, just any kind of charity that we can fund or support, and, who has a clean financial bill and a clean bill of health in terms of what they do and, their operations, in terms of, just, make sure you're not doing anything illegal, because, there are shysters out there. And, find really good charity groups we can support, and give money to and donate to and be a vocal supporter for, just because charity is a big thing to me, and I really want us to have fundraisers to be able to raise money for these groups, in the future. The other thing I really want to do is I want artists. I already have some friends on Tab who are good artists and have offered to draw for me and to make logos and stuff that we need. And I want to thank them all so much. But I really want more, more artists, more people who are willing to draw things I want drawn for posters and for art on the page and for our logos and for our flags and stuff, and, just help me conceptualize some of these ideas I have, so that we have something to show people to be like, yeah, we have this, we want this. We are legit, because I feel like art really is important because it touches people in a way that words, never can. And so art's always a big thing to me, and I really love promoting art and artists, and, because they're just, art is so important to people and to culture in general. I would also really like to get some of our smaller channels more popular, like our Tumblr and our YouTube. I'm working on ways to get my YouTube popular, considering doing Let's Plays and reviews and such, but that's a long way away because I don't know anything about video editing or software or anything like that, and I'm hardly really high-tech over here, but I'm in the market for that, and I'm looking. Anyone who wants to help with that, I would really appreciate it. Who wants to get me in the right direction doing that, I would really appreciate it. What else? Oh, I'm looking for people who can give me news. I already have select people who kind of bring me news or give me things I can put on the page for news, but I need people who can give me credible, nonpartisan news on world events and, on things going on, so I can share that matter to Catholics, really should matter to Catholics, and I want it so we can share it on the page and we can have it, at some point in the future I want our own press corps, people who write our own news articles about things that's going on and, who investigate stuff for us. Because back during the Harvard Black Mass, we had somebody actually in New Hampshire who was at the university asking questions, observing, talking to people, seeing what was going on, and it was so great, because that was really helpful to me for finding out what was going on, making sure we were independent, we were our own voice for Catholics, and not one of these partisan people who were just jumping on the situation to, appeal to the Catholic vote. The other thing that I really want us to do is I really want us to grow. I really want us to get bigger. So please, anytime you see something, on our page, like it, share it, tell people what we're about, read our blog, comment on our blog, really share it. And, anytime we write something or put something out, really share it, really let people know what's going on and with us and who we are, because I've always told people, so many people would love the NSIR and would join it and would support it if they just knew it existed and knew what it was about. I believe there are people out there, who aren't just fascists or whatever, or conservatives who just happen to be Catholic. I believe there are people out there who are Catholics who are tired of being drowned out and tired of being stifled and want just, a voice for Catholics, a flail of the devil and a wall to the church. That's our motto, Flagellum Diabolo Valum Ecclesiae. That is our motto. Flagellum Diabolo Valum Ecclesiae. Flail of the devil and wall of the church. That is what I want us to be. I really want us to be a force for good in the world and for the protection of the church. So again, I want to close this video here before I start rambling. Those are the things I really want us to do. Thank you all so much. Please keep sharing. Please keep liking. Please keep doing all the stuff you do that makes this group grow and makes us get even bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I can't wait for the day when I can see you all in person. We can all be looking nice, and we can be getting out there, getting our Constitution together, getting our officers up and running, and really be a movement beyond just the internet. So, because I've always said the internet is at once empowering, and it also makes us powerless, because we get stuck here, we put our voice out there, but at the same time, unless we transition that into actual action, we're still powerless. We still don't have, a movement on the ground, people, going out in the streets like our opposition, who are out there in the streets fighting and, shouting and making their voices known and their presence known. So I really want you guys to start doing that, and, I want us to get to the point where we can do that, So keep sharing, keep liking, keep following, and, just pray for us. Pray for me, because this is really, if we lose God as our foundation, if we lose true Catholicism as our foundation, and if we cease adhering to that, if we lose the church, if we lose any of that, we're going to go to a very bad, dark place, and we're going to lose our message and lose, what's good about us, because if we do that, we just leave ourselves open to so many negative influences, and I don't want that to happen to us. So please, pray for me, pray for us, thank you so much for everything you do. Keep doing what you do. That's all I got to say for now. God be with you, and just remember, no matter what we do, no matter where we go with this, we have to stay with God, and we always have to give Him thanks, because without Him, none of this would be possible.